hello, hello. Well, isn't that funny timing? We're definitely going to leave that in. I've been wanting to do something with Keqing for quite a while now, because I am one of those unfortunate or fortunate people, I guess depending on your perspective, that got her to C6, which is very interesting. Now, this is not really relevant. I'm gonna be so real. Her damage does not go up by very much. I think if you go to the Keqing mains and use the bot for the guide or whatever, it says that from C0 to C6, it's like at best a 30% damage increase. So it's really not going to do much, but I feel like as someone that has her at C6, I have to do something with her. And she was the first 5-star I ever got as well. So here we are. We're going to do something with Keqing. And there's a couple other things here that I wanted to make use with Keqing as well, because Sara, I like Sara and I like using Sara. And also, I have C2 Xilonen, and I need to make it worth it that I have C2 Xilonen, because if you are someone that does not have C2 Xilonen, I can pretty much say with absolute certainty that it is not worth it. This is a 100% massive waste of money right here. Now, it's an okay damage increase when it comes to the other things, right? Like Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, yada, yada, yada. The buffs are It's a damage increase on the right characters. Hydro doesn't even work on, like, the main Hydro DPS I use is Mona, who's attack scaling, so that doesn't even work for her. Pyro team's attack is already like one of the most diluted multipliers. Crit damage in Cryo teams also the most diluted multiplier in Cryo teams, so it's not all that great. The only real reasons to do this are to make Geo work with triple Geo plus teams, because otherwise you can't activate the Geo source sample without having less than 3 Geo characters. And then the Electro, which it's funky. Now, restore 25 energy and decrease elemental burst cooldown by 6 seconds. Now, the buffs that are given are automatically applied to your active character or the whole team, depending on which one it does, when you use this, right? Use her skill, and then you fill up the bar and activate the source sample. So I go over here and I whack the enemies, and there it goes. Right there, when that triggers, that is when the instance that gives energy and reduces burst cooldown takes effect on the team. And with such a low cooldown on her skill, you can actually do this more than once. I mean, it's only got a 7-second cooldown, so you could do that more than once in a rotation if you manage to bother doing that, right? Like, you could do that twice in a rotation with Yaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaauuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuu worthless because the problems with it are it's for Electro, first of all, and Electro characters are the characters that have the least amount of energy problems. Like, I rarely ever run into energy problems on electric characters. I mean, let's just sort... I don't have all the electric characters, but, like, I never have energy issues on Keqing, Verisa, Clorand. Yaimiko, I do have her C2, right? Her C1 gives energy, but I don't really use her, so not really sure about that. No energy issues on Yansan, Lisa, when I use her and I have her built right. Fischl, none of them have any issues with any of that. So it's kind of questionable in that regard. And then you have the decrease elemental burst cooldown by 6 seconds. That's also not doing a lot when most characters, their rotation doesn't need that. Like, if you shorten the cooldown of your burst, what does it matter if you don't have all of your buffs up anymore? Because it's not going to reduce the cooldown of your characters that aren't Electro. It's not going to give energy to them even if it did. And so you reduce the cooldown, but it's not going to do anything for the most part. Like, in almost any team, it's worthless. But the key words there are almost any team. Because we have Sara. Sara is an Electro character that does actually sometimes have energy issues because she has her 80 energy cost burst and she doesn't exactly generate a lot of particles for herself. On top of that, she has a 20-second cooldown on her burst, which is kind of an issue when she has such low uptime on her buffs. Now, if you are not very familiar with Sara, she's an Electro-specific buffer. And you're definitely going to want her to C6 if you're ever going to use her, because that's where you get crit damage. While her buff is up, you get an extra 60 crit damage to electro damage. And what her buff is from her skill. It gives attack bonus based off of what her attack is. It's based off of her base attack, just like Bennett's, and it's a percentage ratio, just like Bennett. Think of it literally like a Bennett. It works the same exact way. Except it's applied through her skill and her burst instead of just like Bennett's burst. But it has a 6-second duration. Now, you can get more than 6 seconds. So you can get like 3 extra seconds or so on Sara, or from Sara's burst, because when you cast her burst, it buffs the active character in the lightning strikes. And so if I burst, you can see there's extra lightning strikes. And so I just switched, and it was still too late because the extra lightning strikes, you ignore those last ones. Those are from the C4. That's a little more wonky. But you burst, and then you switch characters, and then it's going to take effect a little extra later. I don't know. I'm going to be so real. I was told that, and it seems like it kind of works, but sometimes it seems like it doesn't. I might just be schizophrenic. Either way, very low uptime, which is an issue. But if we are reducing the cooldown on her burst and giving her energy, that means we can switch into her much more often to get the buff without having to go through the horrible clunkiness that is her skill. Because with her C2, I believe it is, you create this little thing. So her skill that you buff, you skill, ignore that, that's not normally there, and you get a special charge arrow. You shoot the charge arrow, and it creates that little thing, that little electro ball. And when it shatters, that's when it gives the buff to the active character, right? So if I use this, shoot the ground, switch characters, bam, there it is. My attack is now higher. With her C2, though, she gets an extra little thing when she casts her skill so that you can skill and immediately switch. But there's a problem with that. And it's that it does not generate particles, which means you're going to have significantly more energy issues if you use that as your way of buffing. As you can see, no particles. But then if I use the charge attack, there's the particles, right? They came to me. It's like 2 particles. Still pretty bad. I mean, I wish she gave more particles for someone that has an 80 energy cost burst, but it is what it is. Well, a character that can make use of the short uptime and not having to stay on field too long to make use of, again, the short uptime is Keqing. So we use Keqing with Sara, but then Sara's got the too long of a cooldown for, you don't have a whole lot of uptime on your Keqing, and then your rotations are too long because Keqing wants to rotate a lot faster than 20 seconds. But Kujo Sara has a 20-second cooldown. Well, here comes C2 Xilonen to the rescue. All of a sudden, it's useful. Now, the C1 here is, it's dookie. The C1 does nothing, okay? If you ever want to pull Constellations, do not pull C1 just for the sake of C1. It is so bad. I can't even, honestly, half the time I can't even tell the level of super armor, quotation marks, the interruption resistance. It doesn't feel like it's really there for the most part. It's a very minor increase. The other part is just like a little bit extra for exploration. It's not very relevant. Now, I do have Xilonen's weapon, but this is not needed at all. It's just an extra 25% damage. We'll actually switch off of it for this. Bam. See, there we go. Favonius. Problem solved. Now you don't have to be like, bam, what? It's C2R1, because C1's dog shit. C2 is used for this thing, and now we don't have her weapon. Now, Sara here, we have her built with a decent amount of energy, and I do kind of want to do some damage on her. So she's got decent crit rate and crit damage. I've got Skyward Harp on her. Skyward Harp because that's high base attack, and we want more attack bonus from her skill. I would like to crown it. I don't have the aura right now, though, so that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. We don't really care too much about that. My Keqing build is fairly decent. I feel like I know some people, or I think it's supposed to be like Mistsplitter is her best, but I feel like, I don't know, Jade Cutter feels better to me because I have higher crit rate and it's more consistent then. Plus, it's just really sexy looking. Now, you already saw my Keqing is C6. We're sitting at 82.9 crit rate and 256.3 crit damage. We have no energy recharge. That's not an issue. Even without Xilonen's C2, I've never run into energy issues on Keqing before. Literally ever. Almost 2,000 attack. She's running 4-piece Thundering Fury, so we can get our skill back faster, and we get the extra damage. I've got pretty decent pieces. Like, I'd say this is pretty good, this is pretty good, this is pretty good, this is pretty good, and this could be better, but it's pretty good. They're pretty good pieces, and since we get the extra crit rate from this 15% crit rate, that actually, while that's up, we have nearly 100% crit rate. We're saying 97.9% crit rate, which is very, very solid, while we also still have some elemental mastery, which is nice. Now, for the 4th character in the team, we're just gonna go with Nahida for the aggravate, or I guess I think I'll probably replace Nahida with somebody else that's more realistic, because my Nahida is C2 R1. Her R1 honestly doesn't really do much, but C2 does matter, and I'm sure there's people that will care about that, and they don't want this to be too high cost of a team, right? Like C6 Jade Cutter Keqing plus C2 Xilonen plus C2 R1 Nahida. I can understand why that would be a little bit questionable. So we're going to replace her with somebody else that's a little more realistic to have, right? Like any other Dendro character. I'm kind of thinking Yaoyao. I'm partial to Yaoyao because the little rabbit is just so overpowered. 100% trust. Plus, then we get more healing. I mean, really, it would probably be better to go Kirara for the shield, but oh well, Yaoyao's got more consistent Dendro application, and so that's what we'll be going with. And so, let us go to an enemy to show this off on. The good old robot chicken. Don't have a waypoint at the robot chicken. The good old robo-dorito. Basically the same enemy. Now, you already get the idea with this team, right? We want to rotate fast. I don't have enough energy on my Sara because I was showing you the burst and how it looked. That's unfortunate, but it's fine. Now, I do occasionally still run into energy issues, although I wasn't running Favonius before, so I shouldn't run into energy issues on Sara now. I do still think maybe like 200 ER might be better, but I don't know. It really depends on like the team and the content you're doing. Now, what I normally do here is I'm going to want to apply Electro first so that I can then, you know, do the thing on Xilonen with her skill and get the extra damage from Cinder City. So we would go skill on Sara. Then we go Xilonen skill, smash it down. Then I throw out Yaoyao's skill to apply Dendro, or whatever your Dendro applier is, you apply the Dendro. And then we use Kujo Sara skill. It gives her the attack buff. And then we shoot the enemy, which is also buffed by the attack buff, but this is just to give us the energy. And then we cast our burst, and we're going to do a pretty decent amount of damage on Sara. Like, she can hit almost 100k sometimes. And then we switch out to Keqing, and we start dealing damage. And then as soon as we're done with Keqing with like a full normal rotation, we skill, burst, skill, normal attack, charge it, normal. I usually go N2 charge attack or N1 charge attack. I like N2 charge attack more. It feels more consistent, I guess. And then we repeat the whole rotation because we should still have Electro applied on the enemy because we won't have too much from Yaoyao because she doesn't apply like crazy insane Dendro like Nahida does. And then we reduce the cooldown and give energy back to Sara, of course, with Xilonen. And Xilonen doesn't rely on her burst. We just need the skill. I hope I'm not talking too fast. Then again, a lot of people like to play videos on times 1.5, so maybe talking fast is what you would prefer. Also, we don't need Yaoyao's burst here either. We're literally just reliant on Kujo Sara's burst and Keqing's. Technically, you could, you know, like I said before, just buff with Kujo Sara's skill, but that's not as juicy or convenient, right? So you don't actually have to do that part. Now we do this shabam, shabam, get the Dendro out, Kujo Sara comes out, do the buffs, burst, get that in, and now, oh, there we go. We're just going to do N1 charge attack. And I actually like to do a little more. Oh, come on. I should not have committed this long on a rotation. See, it kind of didn't work out as well as I was hoping because the boss's health bar, I wish it was thicker or thinner so that we could do 2 rotations or 1 rotation. By the way, I feel like you get the point, right? It's not a bad team. It's a pretty solid team. And the reason I like it is it makes use of Sara. And something I feel like is commonly overlooked, like very, very commonly overlooked, is that you don't have multiple of the best buffers in the game. Like if I can make use of Sara in, say, Stygian Onslaught or something, for example, or the Abyss, that means that's one less of a different support I need in that team. Like if I'm using Sara in this team instead of Farina, now I have Farina for another team. That is of very, very great value. Even if Sara does, say, 10, 20% worse, if she still does good enough and she's a good buffer, that is huge. You don't need them to be the best in the game when you only have one of the best in the game. Also, Sara's hot. If you disagree, you're wrong. You're welcome for giving you your opinion. It's our opinion now. Beautiful. I really, really like this, and it's quite juicy, and it makes me feel like I didn't waste all of those polls getting a C2 Xilonen, so that's interesting, I guess. And, you know, then I get to use my Keqing with her C6 and the weird trail and the costume. Oh yeah, I feel like I'm a Keqing main all over again. I do want to bring us into the Abyss, but before I do that, I also would like to show with Nahida, because, I mean, Naha, where she is. Here she is. We'll go ahead and show the Nahida build. Bit more whale-ish, kind of, sort of. I'm not a whale, in case you're wondering. But I get lucky occasionally with specific characters. I don't have Moika or Sitlali or Skirka. We're lacking in like all of the meta departments, so don't worry about that, Chief. So we're going to be using Nahida here. And yeah, we'll stick with Favonius on her. I mean, the extra damage isn't exactly doing a lot anyway, so why even bother then? Give us the energy for Sara. We would be able to get enough energy for Sara if we had finished our rotation, so that's why she doesn't have her burst back. Though I did mention before that having 200 ER instead of 185 may be nice to have. Now, let us begin. Do this, and then we're going to do this, because if you accidentally apply too much Denjo through Nahida's skill, you can very easily screw yourself over. Okay, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like it was lagging. Yeah, that was a pretty substantial more damage. We killed him in a lot faster that time. But then again, Nahida gives a pretty substantial amount of elemental mastery. Plus, you know, C2 gives that extra Death Shred. But it is what it is. Highly recommend getting Nahida. I don't know about C2. I don't know if this is worth it. But Nahida in general, definitely worth it. If I could turn this off, I would to show it. But alas, I cannot. So you may suffer with me. You're welcome. Now, let us go onwards and try this out in the Abyss. Hey, look, it's Sucrose. Wow, I love that side tangent. I like that they added this and makes the world feel so much more alive, finding characters around. Anyways, let's go to the Abyss. As it should be. The current Abyss cycle. Ooh, I totally forgot that it reset. And so I'm not sure any of these enemies seem to be convenient to try this against. Right, like we get bonus electric charge on one side, bonus bloom damage on one side. Oh yeah, the wilderness hunter guys that have like, they need infinite damage. Oh, and then the battle scarred rocks crab that you need like bloom against. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, my fellow Homo sapiens. We're going to do the first half of chamber 1 and the first half of chamber 2, and then just not do chamber 3 because it's the crab, because I don't feel like suffering through that right now. I'm sure I could finagle my way through a team to do that, but we're not doing that. We're trying to do the Sara team, so we're just going to do the first half, because the second half I don't want to fight the wilderness hunter right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh wait, look at this. In case you didn't know, you can select teams now in the Abyss. Wow, it's like it's magic. Oh no, I have to have a usable team on the second half. Pain and agony. I guess I'll just have to use this team. Oh no, but now I need Xilonen. We'll swap her over and then we come back down. I'm not having a schizo breakdown. You're having a schizo breakdown, Kokomi. Yes, that works. I mean, it probably doesn't work now that I'm thinking about it. That probably doesn't work at all. But it's fine, because you don't have to see me suffer on that side, because I can use the dark magic power of editing to skip past it. So you're just here for the Keqing. Isn't that extra schnazzy? Yes, I'm using Nahida, and I totally forgot to go with Yaoyao instead, but it's okay. And this guy also has Hydro on him all the time, which also complicates things. But it's fine, because we still do all of the things that we need to do. In other words, we make use of Sara, and we love Sara. See, and now we do this. Give the energy to her. rotate in, do this, cast burst. I know I say a lot of do this and I'm doing this thing. That's because I'm really bad at remembering the names of things when things are happening. So if I ever say I'm doing this, do this, then cast this, definitely probably pay attention to the screen. Otherwise, I've got no clue what I'm doing, and then probably neither do you. But that's fine. I'm sure that just makes me more relatable. I don't have Nahida's burst up, but that also just makes me more relatable. This guy is kind of annoying because he has, I believe, 50% Electro Res. We are shredding some, of course, through the magical power of Xilonen. But even with Xilonen's res, we still aren't shredding all of his Electro resistance. So a bit of a pain in the ass, but we can still kill him pretty easily for the most part. Yeah, it looked like he's already dead. And I'll see you on the second half. Here we are. We arrived. Bro, the pain that I just suffered on that Lightkeeper guy with that team. Why did I pick Kokomi for my third slot? With a DPS Mona. I mean, I still managed to beat it only 3 seconds over the timer, but that was pain and agony. Anyways, here we are, kind of lacking in the energy department. That's okay. I'm not depressed. You're depressed. But it's fine because we can build up our energy anyways. This guy's a little annoying. He gets his little shield that zaps energy away from us. And so that can be really frustrating if we're not careful. But it's not too big of a deal, especially if you have a lot of Dendro, right? Like Nahida here. Look at how fast she shreds the Dendro. Like so. But see, now the problem is I've gotten way too much Dendro on the enemy, and so I'm not going to be able to get the Cinder City procced. Which is unfortunate, but the guy's pretty damn easy to kill anyways. If you kill him fast... right as I'm about to say, I was going to say, if you kill him fast enough, you can keep him from spawning another shield. He's dead anyways, though. And we're not going to suffer through to the third one, because I already mentioned that crab is a royal pain in my ass. So that was it with Nahida. Should I do it again, but like without Nahida? Would that be probably? I'm sure some of you are like, give me that instead. You know what? Probably. Yeah, let's do it with Kiara as well. And then this time we can suffer a little less. No, we'll stick with we'll go Yao Yao. Oh yeah, no one saw my Yao Yao build. It's a DPS Yao Yao. Don't worry about it. We're not bursting with her, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, don't worry about it, Chief. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Anyways, yeah, let's run that back, and then this time I can also run the other side with a much less painful setup. That would be good. So we are going to be, of course, going yada yada. Where is it? The same setup with Keqing, Sara. I wish you could favorite characters here. It would help so much in my pain and agony of trying to find people in the massive roster of over 100 characters. Granted, I don't actually have 100 characters. I got like 80 or something, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. New players, you don't have to suffer through because you have no characters. That's arguably worse, though. What am I looking for here? Ah, yes, Dendro. Yao Yao. Now, I mean, you don't get to see the other side, but still, we should pick something that doesn't make me want to die this time. Here, level 70 Flins. I pulled him by accident. Maybe I'll do a video talking about how much I hate life because I pulled him by accident. But we'll just slap him on, plus Inefa, plus... I don't even know who to use. I would like a healer in a Flins team, but I don't know what a healer would be. Kokomi? Is Kokomi a viable option, guys? Someone please tell me. Where is she? Okay. I think I see her. I'm not blind. You are. And now we go Ino. Let's begin. Fan-fucking-nominal. All right. Now we can run the same thing back, but extra juicy this time. I'm not actually sure. I wonder if... the electro charge being on at the same time means I can get the Cinder City. Like, does it hit the electro? I don't know. I'm not like a big brain when it comes to elemental application and that sort of thing. I'm not one of those big poppies, sadly. I'm sure maybe somebody, not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think actually anybody, but maybe somebody will be like, oh, hey, I'm one of those big poppies and I'm in the comments. And then you can be like, hey, actually, you know what? You can use Cinder City on an enemy that's got that thing applied to it. And it will in fact work. And then I can be like, wow, poppy person in comments, your brain is massive. And then I can give him a pin and then all will be right with the world. That or this video will get exactly 0 views, and the only person that will tell me is the voices in my head. Either way, we accomplish what we came here for, which is me to get this out of my brain. I definitely don't regret getting Xilonen. I like having her. She's nice, but man, overall, I definitely don't think it was worth it to get Xilonen C2. I'm also probably rotating this very, very, very poorly. I mean, Keqing specifically, right? Like, I'm sure I can use my skill more than I am because I have the set, right? Thundering Fury, but I don't really know exactly how to rotate that. Anyways, I'll see you in the Keqing side again. Oh me, oh my, look at this. I'm not gonna die. I just like it when I get smacked around, but nothing's ever gonna bring me down. Can I please get this? Okay, so you can see that this is going absolutely fantastic until I got hit by that. Up until then, it was going absolutely fantastic. Now, we are going to want to burst right away on Yaoyao so we can get as much Dendro to kill this guy, but you gotta be careful not to die. Dying is not fun. I don't enjoy dying, I must say. It's not a good experience. But now we got his shield down. You can actually get this guy to have his shield not come up again. I just totally botched that rotation. Don't worry about it. But if you kill him fast enough, you can kill him before he gets a second shield. But I'm like really, really bad at the game. So you can see that clearly did not happen. But again, more relatable. I mean, let's be real here. The average Genshin gamer is not a pro gamer. So, you know, I'm sure you're watching this and like, wow, I too am very bad at this game. And then we can be friends, right? Like we can suck together. Think about how good of a bonding experience that would be. I'm not even going to do the full rotation, right? We're not going to skill on Sara because this guy's about to die. Easy. Absolutely free. See, you don't even need Nahida. That was very, very comfortable. Less Dendro, it's fine. Now, you could use Baiju in that slot as well. I don't have Baiju. I have his weapon, but I don't have Baiju. Anyways, though, yes, you can see it's pretty interesting. I just kind of wanted to show that. I haven't seen, I could not for the life of me find literally any video on YouTube. I scoured for hours, and by hours, I mean like probably 2 hours, and I could not find anything about it. So I was like, you know what if I was the one to make the video about C2 Xilonen plus Sara plus Keqing. Very interesting. I'm not gonna say this is like her best team. I'm sure Overload is probably better, or like having Farina plus Anefa for lunar charged and max buffing or something, but it's still interesting. So I enjoy it. It's something I liked. If you have any other weird like niche things that sound interesting to you, then let me know. Granted, I don't have every character. If it involves any of these characters, you know what? That would be great. Anyways, that's it for that, I guess. Yay. Goodbye.